Now the hardest thing you're probably going to run into is these screws here. This one right here, and there's another one that I'm going to point to. You'll see it when the video picks back up. But in order to remove these, it takes a special tool, but you can just use a vice grip or a channel grip or some pliers, because the screw is not actually getting there that tight, and it has room for you to grip it. And then once you unloose those screws, you want to lift this thing upwards and to the left to get it out of your way. That's one screw, and that's the other here. Then you want to remove all of these plugs. All of the plugs that's on the harness, and you want to get the harness out of the way of the valve cover. And then you want to remove this screw here, because this is connected to this piece here that I'm showing you. And this piece here, it's problematic to take it off, so I'd rather just unscrew that little screw that I showed you, and we're going to leave that on there, and it'll come off with the valve cover gasket, the whole valve cover, I mean. Then we want to remove this hose off the throttle body, and it's just a screwdriver, ply it out and move it out of your way. Then we just want to go unplug everything. Like I said, we want to just get all the wires and stuff out the way. This is easy peasy, guys. This is simple, follow the rule instructions. Unplug all of these plugs I'm showing you. Plugs. Fuel line, and that screw there. And then when that's off, you just want to bend it back. You don't have to remove it from the other side. And you want to remove this ground here. This vacuum line here for the brake booster. You want to remove that right there. Get that out your way. You want to remove that plug there. And then there's another ground right next to the plug by where my finger is. You want to remove that also, so you can have clearance and have all of the wires out of your way. And this is how you should look with the wires out of the way. Something like this. Then you want to remove your coils. Simple 10mm screws. Remove those and then pull the coil right up. It comes right up. Pop right out your way. Now with them up, you want to remove your fuel pressure line. And you want to unplug that. You want to remove those screws, and then there's two little small Allen key screws also in there. And you want to unplug all four of them and remove all four of the screws on top of your injectors. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just screwdriver, unplug it, and pull it up. And then you want to remove 1, 2, 3, and the 4. And as you can see, I had the fuel pressure thing. Yep, there it goes. Back to it. I just removed it and I just bent it back. That's all you gotta do. Remove the 10mm in that one and push it back. Fuel's gonna squirt out when you first bust it open. Don't even worry about that. And then with that off and that unplugged out of your way, you could just pull the fuel rail up. Don't be scared. Give it a little pull. Rock it back and forth, and it'll come right up. And then once that's up, you want to remove your vacuum pump from the side. I didn't have a video with it on, but look, it's the 3 screws right there. 1, 2, 3. And then you want to clean off that housing right there, because when you put the gasket back on, you're going to put a little seal on it for it doesn't leak. So once you take those 3 screws out and remove the pump, the next thing you're going to do is just start removing your screws. You're going to have a bunch of screws on the valve cover. 1, 2, 3, and it just goes around on both sides. 4, 5, 6. And then you got the ones in the inside. There's more on the back end. There's more on the inside. In there, yep. And then I forgot to show you this line here. That line has to be removed. This is a coolant line. This coolant line has a bolt and it has 2 washers on it. So make sure you remove the 2 washers and put them back the same way they came off. One is on one side of the screw, one is on the other side of the screw. And then there's a little 10mm screw also you want to remove, so you can just move this out of your way. And then there's another thing here, this black thing in the background right here. This bracket, a lot of people tell you to remove it if you watch videos, but you don't have to remove it. If you get a pry bar, you can just pry it out the way, because that little screw will stop your valve cover from coming up. And to avoid having to be in an awkward position removing that bracket, I just bent it out the way, and it worked perfectly fine. Now, when putting your vacuum booster back, you want to make sure that little thing is lined up with the inside. In there, you're going to see that it should fit in a perfect way. And what you want to do is take your gasket, maker, like the sealant gasket sealer, and you want to put some on there, the gray gasket seal. You want to clean that off first, and then you want to just put a gasket sealer around the 2 spots that I circled up. That right there, ultra gray gasket. And then what you want to do is you put your gasket back on there, your actual gasket, and then you want to put the gasket maker on that, right around there, just on that part right there, the same part. And that'll keep your oil from leaking out because you didn't put a new gasket. There goes your 3 screws, just showing you again where it goes in. You want to make sure you line it up right. And then here goes the valve cover. And I already pulled the old one out, the gasket, and the new one is in there. And then in the inside, you need 2. Get the set that comes with 2. So you don't be like me, buying one and then having to buy the other. And that's the second one that goes in the inside. They can only go one way in there. So you put them both in, and then you want to clean off your head. You want to clean off the head where your valves is. You want to just wipe that down where the valve cover screws go. You want to just wipe that down and get any excess like gasket or stuff in there. And there's also a plug back that I forgot to I'm gonna put an arrow next to it so you know exactly where to unplug it at. See right over there, there's a plug on the valve cover that you're gonna need to unplug. It's actually on the valve cover. I forgot to show it. So just make sure you do that. Put everything back together the way you took it apart, man. The throttle body hose that you remove when you took off the throttle body, you're just gonna remove that to the side. Just get it out your way and buckle everything back, man. If this video was useful, I try to make it simple as possible. Hit the like button and give me a subscribe, man. Just trying to grow the channel, help you guys out, man, along the way.